And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So how many times can you be 500? One time, that's 1 year. So he had triplets. Right? Shem, Ham, and Jeffrey. At least what these people look like. Right? And he said, Cursed be Canaan. A servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. We want to get into why Canaan was cursed. So go back. We're going to go back, right, to Genesis chapter 9 and 18. And the sons of Noah, they went forth of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. So they specify that Ham was the father of Canaan. Right? Why? Check this. We're going to get into that. And these people need to know this. These are the 3 sons of Noah, and all of them was the whole earth overspread. And Noah began to be in bed, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his 2 brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backward. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan. Says cursed Canaan, which was the 4th son of Ham. We're going to get into that because that's deep right there. That's deep. People need to know this because people started jumping into the New Testament, started talking about, well, this don't matter, that don't matter. Well, if it don't matter, why we even need the Old Testament? If we just can read the New Testament and say, okay, we're saved with this and that, and why do we need the Old Testament then? Right? So we're going to read the Old Testament and see what the Old Testament say because it ties into the New Testament. Read the Bible, and read it word for word. Right here it say, Canaan was cursed, right, for what his father had did. And we just read in Genesis chapter 5 verse 32, that these brothers were triplets. Now keep that in mind because this is a race thing because they put images of Jesus as white guy. They put all the prophets in the Bible as white. Because this is so we're gonna expose this because it's in the book right here, who's who and what color are these folks. Right? Okay? Because so in order to figure out what color these folks is, right, because we gotta understand that they have a son named Ham. And if you study, if you're into linguistics, you know that Ham goes back to Chemite, or Chemic or whatever. We don't want to get into that Egyptian part of this thing because we're just dealing with the Hebrew side of this thing right now. And we're gonna tell you boys the truth, man, you know, and this is the truth, that Ham means black. In some cases, burnt black. And understand that Ham had to be able to get to who Ham's sons were, who were black people. Get into that. Okay? Let's get into that. Pre-Genesis chapter 10. Genesis chapter 10. Start right there at the beginning. We're gonna get this, these are the sons of, we're gonna get the generations, and we're gonna show y'all that because I hear black people out there saying that they Gentiles. They follow Paul's teachings, and they're thinking that they Gentiles, and white folk got them thinking they Gentiles, and this isn't a case of not so far from the truth, it ain't even true. Okay? They only read right here in the Bible where it says in Genesis chapter 10 who the Gentiles are. Let's get down to that. Now these are the generations of the sons of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. So sons were born unto these children of Noah after the flood. And they gave the names of these children. And the first person people they taught out was Japheth. Let's see what Japheth got going on. Okay. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Magog. Meshach, and Tyrus and the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Reba and Tubalma and the sons of Javan was Elijah, and Tarshith, Kittim, and Dianim, however you pronounce that, but they if you're following with me, we're in Genesis chapter 10 verse 1. Keep on reading that down to 5. But these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands. So the Gentiles, according to the Bible, were the sons of Japheth and his people. Okay. And keep this in mind because these different sons are going to become tribes. You're going to hear these different words, these different names, these different words, but they're going to become tribes later on in the Bible. So you got to remember these people. Right? These people are Gentiles. Right? These people later on become the Italians. Right? These people later on become the French and so on and so on and so on in the Bible. The facts that because they married the Canaanites, and we'll get into the Canaanites, who the Canaanites were, we're going to get into why we're not supposed to marry the Canaanites. We're going to get into that. We're going to walk now. But you people out there in Bible land, you Bible thumpers out there who are black Bible readers and saying that you a Gentile, the proof is right here. You would say you're a Gentile. You gotta be from the seed of Japheth. Now, if you say you're from the seed of Japheth, that's cool. You could be a Gentile, but Ham and Shem are not Gentiles. Only the sons of Japheth, because the hours were divided right here in Genesis chapter 10. Verse 5. Where it says that these sons of Japheth, were Gentiles. Now, that's the Bible right there. I'm just looking to read what it says. And then it goes on to the sons of who? Read the sons of Ham. Okay. This is 10 verse 6. 10 verse 6 will be the sons of Ham. And the sons of Ham, Cush. Cush? Now hold it right there. If you go look up the word Cush, you will see that the word Cush means Ethiopia. And we're gonna show you pictures of Ethiopians right here. You look at that pictures right now of Ethiopians who are black people. Right? So if and Cush means Ethiopia. Don't believe me? Go check it out. And you see the word Cush there, which mean black. Right? Just like his daddy was black. Ya feel me? Okay, alright, let's go back, let's be tracking ourselves, let's put this in the perspective. If the Cushites are Ethiopians. If they are Ethiopians, they are black, y'all, and that means their had to be black. Right? And we just read in Genesis chapter 5 verse 32 that these people were triplets. So if Ham were black, then it mean that all three sons, all three of them were black. Get there. And then you go on back to Ham's daddy who had to be black. Because y'all, and think about this. If they were triplets, then he and his brother was also black. Come on now, man. Yeah. And we're gonna prove that by end of reading you the Bible. Now let's get this. Okay? Because we gotta understand who Canaan was. Okay? Get down to the sons of Ham, because Ham had another son. Cush. And Mizraim? Are mistakenly called the Egyptians, right? They are, originally the people of that land that you call it Egypt. Egypt. They were dark people. Who else? And put the Libyans. The Libyans over there in Africa right now. Okay? Black people. And who else? And Canaan, who was a brother born amongst black brothers who were different. And that's why he was an outcast. We'll get into it why he was outcast in the Bible. Let's go to, read, chapter 10 verse 15. Now you can go read this whole thing on your own, but we just drop it through so we can get you a overstanding on what's going on. Who is Canaan? We focus on who is Canaan. Keep that in mind. Focus on who is Canaan. But read on the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgasite, and remember all these people. Because like I told you, all these sons, these 11 sons, they become tribes. They become tribes, and these people play a big part. You start to understand what the Bible is, how it's going, what's going on, and who's who, and how it's popping out here. Okay. These people are what? Amorites? And the Girgasite, and the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite, and the Arvadite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamathite, and afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. Canaan had 11 sons and 1 daughter who they don't mention here, but we ain't getting to that, the Bible don't want to give it to them. Okay. So it's right there. It's right here. It's King James Version. We ain't playing about with it, no games. It's the King James Version, and we're putting it down right here in Genesis chapter 10 verse 15. Okay. Now we're gonna read Leviticus. When ye be come into the land of Canaan, which I give to you for a possession, and I put the plague of leprosy in a house of the land of your possession. So Moses and them would get ready to go into this land, the land of Canaan, and the plague that was put on Canaan, because you gotta remember, we read it, Genesis chapter 9 verse 25, that Noah cursed Canaan. And the curse that he gave him was leprosy. And according to the Bible, leprosy means the term white. Okay? It's snow. And these people were albinos. Okay? Though the Bible said they had yellow hair in Leviticus chapter 13 verse 30. So these people came out with lack of deficiency of being white milk skin. See what I'm saying? Now we're gonna read Exodus, chapter 4 verse 6, where Moses stuck his hand to his bosom, and it turned white. And the Lord said furthermore unto him, Put now thy hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom. And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. Leprous as snow. Everybody knows snow is white. Everybody that got eyes that can see. So what color was it before the end? He had to be a dark color man. And he put him to Levi's, which was Jacob's seed coming down through Isaac through Abraham and all down now. So we still dealing with this thing. The man stuck his hand to his bosom, which is his pants, his pocket or whatever, and pulled it out, and it turned white, man. So it had to be a opposite of white, and why they show you Moses in the movie White. And they pull this stunt right here, the Bible saying, right here we just read in Exodus chapter 4 verse 6, that he come out white. If he was white here, he come out white. Okay. We're gonna read one more scripture to further show you what leprosy really is according to the Bible, because people have put their own teachers out and their own definitions. Right? Because what the definition is to keep you deaf. That's what it's all about. They got their own definitions, their Bible commentaries, all their versions of the Bible. They have put this definition out to lead you further from the truth. Okay? And according to the Bible, Exodus chapter 4 verse 6, it means to turn white. Go ahead. Numbers chapter 12 verse 10. Go get this white thing, because leprosy means turn white according to the Bible. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. So far, Moses' sister Miriam got mad because Moses married an Ethiopian woman. We already know the Ethiopians are the Cushites, and these people are black, overstanding. This is basic terminology we reading up here. And they said, has the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Had he not spoken also by us? And the Lord heard it. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. And behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. White as snow. Leopards, white as snow. That's real. Again, they go with that snow word snow, and we know snow is white. Okay? We be in the Bible for word. It's saying right here, you know what means to turn like snow. And we had told you, man. We're gonna tell you about these albinos. Hold on. Go back to that. Read on down where they said that they was Caucasian. They were carcass agents in Numbers 12:10. When Aaron looked upon Mary Ann, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, alas, my Lord, I beseech thee. Lay not the sin upon us wherein we have done foolishly and wherein we have sinned. Let her not be as one dead of whom the flesh is half consumed when he cometh out of his mother's womb. And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, heal her now, O God. I beseech thee. So she turned white, and white as snow, and the flesh, deteriorating thing is the sun, attacked these people. And pretty much these people are, pretty much dead flesh. They have dead skin on them a lot due to their sun. And so what they were talking about is the Caucasian. What is a carcass? A carcass is, it means deteriorating flesh. Okay? Caucus agents. Right? Let's get into that. We're gonna get into that on that one day. Talking about the Caucasus Mountains and telling you how to eat people got down, up in the Caucasus Mountains. Okay? So we're gonna really get in there. So all you Bible adopters who ain't ready, don't tune in to part 2. We're gonna get nasty and tell you what really went down in the caves, man, with these people. You dig? Now we're gonna read Leviticus chapter 13 verse 30. We're gonna talk about the yellow half, because you gotta understand what's going on here. Right? Then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in slight deeper than the skin, and there be any a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry stare, even a leprosy upon the head or beard. So see what it says that on a beard, there gonna be yellow hair. Right? On a beard and a face is called leprosy. What is yellow hair? Blonde hair. We'll get into that because it's an albino thing. Right? And what albino is a lack of melanin in the skin, the lack of pigmentation causing this, lack of pigmentation in the hair and in the skin, and the hair causing the hair to be yellow, white, gray. Right? Because as people get older, they use the pigmentation, they have to turn gray. If you study hair, you will see about pigmentation in the hair. Study yellow hair, and you'll see the yellow hair is blonde hair, which has no pigmentation at all. Okay? And these people are albinos. Okay? They say it's rare, but it's not normal. It's not natural, because if you study animals, right, and you study how God created the animals and the colors, deers are what color, brother? Brown. Right? Deers are brown. When you see a white deer, right, which is very rare, a right deer, this deer is referred to as an albino deer. And he's treated as an outcast as such amongst his own deers in the woods. Just don't believe me. Go check it out. When you see snakes are normal, green, dark colors. Right? When you see a snake, and they're all white. Well, they ain't getting me put them on TV because it's rare. They say it's rare. Right? So if you born an albino, That's you born as a leprosy according to the Bible and, according to Leviticus chapter 14 verse 33, according to 13 verse 30, yellow hair was a leper's, according to the Bible, not Levels with Value. Again I repeat, I'm talking about what the Bible says. Right there in the Bible. The people were white with yellow hair on their beard and their face. Right there in the Bible. They are albino people. And you see the people with the dark colored hair like white people with dark hair. These are albinos who mix back in. They are mulattoes now. They are mixed. They are no longer full-blooded albinos because you gotta be able to walk up to full-blooded Canaanite, the original seed of Canaan. You gotta have blonde hair. But when Canaan had his sons, in some senses, some of them had different color hair anyway because, the woman that he married, you get it, and one of his sons actually came out dark skin. The last son actually came out dark skin. Right? One of his sons, but most of them came out albino. And these people, were told not to mix. The Abraham was told not to mix his seed. So, tigers are naturally dark color, but when you see a all-white tiger, they call it an albino tiger. They even capture them, tranquilize them, wherever they find them at, tranquilize them, and take them and put them into somewhere, right, to make money out of them. And take them to Las Vegas, put them in have them drop it through hoops, put them in magic shows. Right? Because they say it's rare, but it's not normal to see a white tiger. In Africa, you're gonna see tigers that are brown, black, and dark colors, if you go on safaris. This is what's going down, so we're gonna get into it. And if you see no rats, or mice, right? A normal mice, you'd never see a white mouse or rat run across your floor. Right? You see, rats are dark colors. When you see a white mouse, if you see white mouse, these are laboratory bred mice, right? In the lab, to change, what's going on, man, because you don't, the white is not normal. Albino, to be an albino was not normal. It was not normal. That's why they treated these people as such. If you read the Bible about these Canaanite people, right, the Hittites, the Amorites. If you get Genesis chapter 15 verse 13, it'll show you right there where these Amorites took Abraham's seed as captives. Right? So the Amorites were who? Canaanites. See what Bible is saying? Right? So it weren't normal. Albino people have yellow hair, and because they lack pigmentation. Dark eyes have pigmentation. So women going around putting this blonde hair in their hair. Black people putting blonde hair in their hair, and not know in the Bible it was a leprous, it's a curse. You have your hair, a lighter color is a curse. Dark is beautiful. They play games. They play games with the black-white thing. They play games. The black-white thing is like, devil food cake is what color? Okay. And angel food cake is what color? White. So they play games. This black-white thing, because they know the truth. They supposedly they put this thing together, and it's telling right there who they are. And that's why they came out with so many different translations after the King James, try to hide this part of the truth, But we exposing it right here before they get rid of it. Because now they're gonna try to destroy this King James. So they're gonna have their own different versions of the Bible. They had already got over thousands of different versions. The New International, the Jehovah Witness, the Mormons New Revised, the King James Revised, the King James Takeover Bible. Come on. These people going crazy. These demons are coming out with to the Father lead you from the truth. And we're gonna get into it why Abraham told his people. Abraham told his people not to marry these people due to them being defective genes and weak genes. Right? That's why we're strong. That's why black people are strong people. They're able to survive a lot of different things. When white people jump out of the window when they lose all their money or lose their girl or isolated and alone, they jump out of the third floor straight onto the concrete turned into a pancake. You see what I'm saying? They can't handle it. They can't handle the truth. They can't handle the being broke or pulled. Like, black people have been through everything. That's why we God's. That's why we God's people. Psalms 82, or like Jesus said in the book of John. Don't play with us, ye shall know the truth and truth shall set you free, and we're gonna put it down. And we're gonna read Genesis chapter 24, right, verse 3, where Abraham didn't want his son to marry the Canaanites, right? And we're gonna just show you who the Canaanites were. And I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell. But thou shalt go into my country, to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son, Isaac. Yes. So he wanted to go get one of his sons to marry a people of his own color and not the Canaanites who was possessed and a curse of leprosy, which means they were white folks. They had weak genes. Michael Jordan and them are 9 ether beings. 'Cause we got a certain type of energy. We get our energy from the sun. Here's another statement from Isaac, right, about telling his sons the same thing. Right? To keeping the bloodline pure. Right? Chapter 28 verse 6. When Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Paddan Aram, to take him a wife from thence, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a charge saying, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob obeyed his father and his mother and was gone to patter them around. Okay. Alright. So Jacob went and got him a wife amongst the people that was of his color of dog color. But okay. But his daddy, Isaac, told them, Don't take a dog, take a daughter amongst the Canaanites, right? Because these people were leprous, and we just read you in the Bible. They were white folks with blonde hair and blue eyes, okay? We're gonna go down to 15 again. Read that what it say right there, whereby Esau saw that it displeased his father. What did Esau do? And Esau, seeing that the daughters of Cain pleased not Isaac his father, then went Esau into Ishmael and took into the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebuchadnezzar to be his wife. Okay. Alright. So Esau, right then, saw that his father didn't want them to mix his seed. So instead, he took daughters of Ishmael, which was Abraham's seed, right? Abraham's seed was Ishmael's son, because Ishmael was Hagar's son by Abraham. Okay? So these people were black. Alright. We're gonna get into it. Look. These people here were black, but they were told not to mix their seed with these Canaanites. Right? On and on and on. But if you read on down, Esau, went on anyway and married some of the Canaanites too into his family too and had another mixed people called the Edomites. We're gonna get into that. Right? But, so far we're gonna close out today with that and let you ponder over that.